What's up, guys? My name is Khan and we're back today with more Scrap Mechanic, and today we're looking at something super awesome, and that is piston powered planes. So I know so many people have asked, why haven't you made a piston powered plane yet? And that is of course a plane that uses nothing but piston engines powering propellers. That is a tongue twister. Piston engines powering propellers. Say that 10 times fast. But of course, that is what this plane is. So this is the one I've made. I actually made one of my own. But before we do that, I want to take a look at the only other two I found on the workshop. So of course, they're both by very talented creators. This one here by Sales, S-A-L-E-S-S. I hope I said that right. I know he's a very talented builder. He's been on the top of the workshop with many of his creations, including small differential cars. And I mean, this plane, we're gonna fly this first. It's so impressive, I can't even talk. And then of course the other one here by Icebound Glacion. Now, these are the only two I found on the workshop. If there are more on the workshop that you've made, let me know. But these are the only two I could find that use only pistons and the wings mod to actually make them fly. No sort of propulsion, and definitely no powered propulsion, only pistons. Now, I do use the mod pack just for the smart engines to kind of add some extra control, but just like those, we only use piston engines to fly. So anyways, before we drone on and talk a little bit about, you know, the difficulties of this build, we're just gonna fly some of these planes. So this is a sales plane, very simple stuff. You just press the one key, it turns on both those piston engines, and it's got an auto takeoff mechanism, which, oh, hold on, I suck. It's a little bit difficult. There we go. These planes are very difficult to fly because they move so slow. You gotta be very careful with all your movements. But you can see super smooth, and he's got obviously some glitch welded propellers, so he's got just a ton of propeller blades sort of all stacked on top of each other. But you can see a very beautiful plane, flies super smooth, and hopefully we can get some altitude here, clear this mountain, and then loop our way back. I also love, he's got like a weird, just a single propeller. It's unpowered. It just spins. It like counter spins. I guess it provides drag or something. As the plane goes forward, it pulls it back. I'm not exactly sure why that's there, but I just noticed it was there, and I think it's a pretty cool feature. Let's see if we can loop back around here. Beautiful plane by Sales. Again, one of the most talented builders on the workshop. And you can see he does do some glitch welding, so obviously with the piston engines themselves, they are sort of glitch welded together, so they can all be kind of overlaid with each other. But it's all possible to do in vanilla, and you don't have to do anything too fancy. I just suck at it, so I don't do it at all. But it does make your builds more compact and definitely more sleek looking. And we're going to come in for a landing here. Look at this. Perfect. I mean, okay, we'll just turn it off. We're fine. Perfect. Awesome plane. I love this plane. It's so good. And like I said, super talented creator. I'll definitely include links to these in the description down below. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely encourage you to do that. Really cool stuff. Now, there are a few tricks to building a piston powered plane. The biggest thing with building a piston powered plane is the type of engine you use. And actually, my original problem was that all the engines I used had logic built into them, and that's a really stupid thing to do. And it's actually Icebound Glacion, the guy who built this plane here, who pointed that out to me. And the reason why is logic sort of adds a delay into your circuits. So let's just fly Icebound's plane real quick here and just take a look at how it works. It's definitely different. It only actually has one switch, which just angles the entire wing piece, I guess, up and down, or the body, depending on how you look at it. And you hold W to go forward. I don't think he has a reverse, but then we can press that one key and it should take off. You can see his piston engines are really fast. We should be able to go. How do I go up? There was a way to, oh, do I have to hit one? I don't remember. There's a way to get up. It was working before. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, we got lift. I don't know if he's got a pitch control, or maybe I'm just, no, I don't think there's a pitch control. I think you just hold one and keep going. All right, perfect. Oh, no, not the tree. Not the tree. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're stuck. The one thing I found really impressive about Icebound's plane is how fast his piston engines spin. Now, granted, he has, you know, relatively small propellers, I guess, on them, but you could put bigger propellers on these engines, I feel, and it would spin just as quickly. But it is really impressive to watch, and they just spin really fast. And that was the biggest problem with my piston engines, was the fact that I couldn't get them to spin quick enough. So like I said before, there were actually kind of two main problems with my piston engine, and it's kind of nice that Icebound pointed them out to me. At least he pointed out the one for sure. And the one biggest problem is, if we look at my standard sort of piston engine configuration, we've got 4 pistons here, each offset by 90 degrees, which isn't a big deal, but we power them through these logic blocks. So each piston kind of runs through a sensor, and then the sensor runs through a logic block, which then goes back out to the piston. And you can see it moves pretty quick and it rotates pretty fast. but it actually kind of glitches out. And as you put load on this engine and everything else, the 1 tick delay you get from the sensor input going to the logic and then back out, it kind of causes some problems with the piston engine, and it doesn't let it rotate as fast as it possibly could. So that was sort of one problem with the engine. And then the other problem was the fact that we are using 4 pistons instead of 3. And for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure why, on a 4 piston setup, it seems more unstable than on a 3 piston setup. And I have a theory, and my theory is that you're not powering all the pistons all at the same time. And so all the pistons that are unpowered are kind of fighting the rotation a little bit. So if you have a situation like this with 4 pistons, you have more pistons that are potentially fighting the rotation rather than helping it. Whereas with 3, you have less of that. So these are both sort of running with color sensors. And if we paint this black, you can see they'll just spin in the one direction. No problem. But you can see with 4, it doesn't seem like it's spinning very quick, even though these pistons are all at max speed. But with 3 here, you can see it spins a lot faster, even though it's literally the same setup. Same amount of tires, same everything else. I mean, they both dance. But you can see that this one spins visibly faster than that one. And I think, again, it's the 4 fighting it instead of the 3. And so making a 3-piston engine is definitely better. You don't want to do 2, because obviously a 2 engine could get stuck in certain positions with only 2 pistons. 3 is kind of nice because a 3-piston engine will never get stuck. And actually, if we can just unpaint this here. I can't, there, if we just unpaint it, we can paint it the other way, it'll actually spin in the opposite direction. So, a really, really great engine setup. Again, thank you to Icebound Glacion for sort of showing me the error of my piston engine ways, and I'm sure someone in the comments is going to tell me an even better way to make a piston engine that works faster. But you can see, no glitch welding here, just completely exposed, and we're just powering tires with a nice, simple 3-cylinder engine, which is still rolling around. So of course, combining all these elements into one awesome design, I decided to make my own piston-powered plane. Now, of course, the first thing you'll notice about it is, 1, these are some massive propellers. I did not glitch weld any propellers together, so instead I just made 2 massive propellers on the front with 2 smaller propellers on the back. So again, Icebound Glacion's design might not have flown as high as this one will, but he could just add more propellers, which I think if he had more propellers, it would maybe not look as much like a plane, but it would definitely fly a lot higher. And then you can see we've got 2 piston engines here. These are just sort of little black colored bars on pistons, so we don't have to paint it every time. They'll just kind of push in and deploy and get in the way. And again, same setup, 3 cylinders with a shaft going front and back. And then both the front and the back prop will spin in the same direction off the same engine, and the other one will spin in the opposite direction just to counter torque. So pretty simple stuff. And like I said, I do have mod pack logic in this, but again, just for the logic elements, not for any of the power. So you can see we've got up and down with W and S, and that's just uses some mod pack smart engine stuff so that it can go back to 0. A and D control yaw, and 1 and 2 control roll, just on those 2 secondary wings there. Now you'll notice the front wing is angled up slightly, and that's all done off this sensor here on the front. So it does have an auto takeoff assist, so when you turn it on, it'll keep that wing kind of angled up until you're off the ground, and then it'll put that wing flat again to help you fly a little bit better. But it just helps you get off the ground a little bit, and it's pretty good stuff. So without further ado, 1, 2, roll, and 3 is go. So we'll just press 3. You can see they just kind of spin up to speed. Now, they don't spin as fast. You'll notice with the propellers, it takes off very, very smooth, though, with that auto assist. But the propellers, you'll notice, don't spin nearly as fast as Icebound Glacion's. Again, in 2 reasons. 1, his piston engine is so much better than mine. And 2, his propellers are much smaller, so they obviously don't have as much drag or resistance or whatever. But you see it flies really, really well. For some reason, the one thing I noticed, all of us who made piston engines seem to use yaw to control more than roll. And I don't know why, but roll kind of sucks for piston engines. So you want roll very, very subtle. I think part of the problem is when you go to like tip a wing up, it actually just puts a lot of drag on your creation, and it doesn't necessarily roll it so much as just, you know, kind of twist it. But you see, we're doing really quite well here, just gaining height ever so slowly. It's so hard to gain height in these creations, but it's really, really cool to fly them. And they make some really cool noises. It's so amazing. But as you can see, really stable to fly, even in first person. I mean, it doesn't go very fast. It's not a speed record maker, but it's super quiet. And it's definitely just a lot of fun. I can't believe, again, it took Icebound Glacion to actually point out the flaws of my piston engine before I could actually do this. Because I did try this a few different times, but I was always thinking that the problem was I didn't have enough pistons. So I would put 8 piston engines and like I did 4 piston radials. I tried 6 piston setups and stuff. And the reality was I just needed to do less. Sometimes less is more, and it seems like if I just put 3 pistons, they just move so much more methodically and they don't interfere with each other as much, which just makes them move that much better. You can see we're just gaining more and more height here. It's a very slow process to gain height. Just roll it back flat, but it's so easy to fly, and I absolutely love it. It's just such a beautiful way to explore the map. Now, we could put one of those drag reducer blocks from the engineers mod on this creation, and I think it would fly a lot faster. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted to actually just use straight wings mod and of course the mod pack just for those controls. But I really just wanted to do the straight wings mod method to see if we could overcome all the drag scrap mechanic does. With the drag reducer block, it does make it easier because you don't lose speed as fast. So you don't have to have as powerful an engine. You'll kind of just, you know, a very small engine will still give you a lot of force eventually. The only thing I would like to fix on this plane, and maybe I could probably do it with some glitch welding, is obviously the size of the propellers. I think the front ones are a little bit obnoxious. The back ones are kind of large too. We have to use like full-on wing pieces just to get enough sort of speed, I guess you want to call it, force out of it or whatever, to move the plane forward. And then of course the wings themselves are massive because, you know, the whole plane doesn't move very quick. But it would definitely be nicer to have smaller propellers on this, but I don't want to use any other like sort of thrusters or anything like that, or any modded propellers that do artificial stuff. It's a beautiful challenge in this game to make a piston powered plane. And like I said, I only found a few on the workshop, so maybe there's more. And if you have made one, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But I encourage you guys, if you do enjoy Scrap Mechanic and you like sort of challenge builds, I guess, try making yourself a piston powered plane, only using the wings and piston engines, of course, for power. And you'll see it's quite an interesting challenge, and it's quite a lot of fun, and it's so rewarding. It's such a beautiful build to just fly around, despite how simple it is, and, you know, obviously how simple it looks, and obviously it can't really do much. I mean, it just kind of floats around here. It's just so amazing once you actually finally get it working, because it takes forever. I mean, it took me so long just to figure out the right piston configuration, and then just to get it to move across the ground with propellers takes a bit, and then you got to figure out your wings, and then the first time I put on the controls, I had the roll control and it just crashed the plane when you would try and roll it because it was too aggressive. So we had to tune that back and everything. And it's just, there's so many different challenges in making such a simple build like this. It's really, truly rewarding, and I absolutely love it. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give me more suggestions for crazy builds like this. I know a lot of people have been bugging me about this kind of build for a long, long time, and it took a while for me to make one, but I'm really glad that I finally got to it. And thank you again to Icebound Glacian for really pointing out the problems with my piston engines. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and while you're at it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Go check out the other guys' builds. I will of course include the links to their 2 builds in the description below. And like I said, if you did make one and I missed it, absolutely let me know in the comments. I would love to check out how other people made piston powered planes as well. They're so cool and they're so difficult, but they're just so much fun, and they're really, really cool to fly around. They're definitely not multiplayer friendly. They kind of glitch all over the place in multiplayer, but they are still super, super cool to fly around just on your own and just to explore the world. And I mean, look at, we can fly right off the ground and still have enough control just like a regular plane. It's just awesome stuff. Coming nice, smooth landing here. Look at that, landing on our nice pipe peeps landing gear. Perfect. But of course, let me know what you guys think. Download this creation for the workshop. I will include all the links. I absolutely love it. Piston powered planes, guys. It's the future of scrap mechanic transportation. I can't wait. Next, we got to do another piston powered thing now that I've learned so much about making better piston engines. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hit those buttons. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.